Hello everyone, how are you doing? So in today's video, we are going to talk about a topic on which I didn't thought till now that there could be a confusion. Okay, but what I found out that many people reached out to me on the comments and everybody comments and the WhatsApp to talk about work experience. So, and specifically what to enter in the work experience. So, see some of the sample questions I received from some of the people. For example, there are people who reached out to me that I have a lot of work experience, right? But what should I enter in the work experience field? Okay. So that was the kind of question. And I always thought it was very self explanatory. You should enter all the work experience that you have, right? So, but since there was a confusion, I thought let's address that. Okay. So I'll just take you to the demo form that I have. So if you look at this particular form for AOS, this is what the demo form that we use for a demonstration. So there is a field under work experience. There is something called total years of work experience to date. Okay. And then there are experience related to your current employment and your past employment, okay, which is under your work history. So this is the main important section here, right? That we are trying to address today. Okay, so as far as work experience is concerned, we need to discuss it in I will discuss it in few categories. Okay, so the first discussion that I will do is work experience during the qualification period versus work experience as a overall or a total work experience. Okay, now if you look into any of the streams, I will take AOS as an example. Okay, if you look into any particular stream, let me just go to the AOS page. Okay, I am here on the AOS page, if you see. And if I go to the work experience requirement, so there is a work experience, there is a minimum work experience that is required, right? And then there is a work experience required during that particular qualifying period. Okay, so if you have a work experience, so for AOS, just again, this is only an example from AOS. So if you are applying for AOS at the time of your application, you should have a minimum eligibility as far as work experience is concerned. Okay, so that is important. However, it doesn't say anywhere that you cannot work elsewhere or you cannot have work experience from your earlier work or earlier experience, right? Like for example, when I applied for Tech Pathway, I put my whole 16 years of experience at that point of time. I put everything. Okay, so put everything, but this is the bare minimum that you should have. Okay, so that is the one thing. Okay, next question people have asked me is that, but my work experience is not the same NOC as my current occupation. Okay, again, here is again that discussion related to qualifying experience and total experience. Total experience might not be your qualifying experience. People don't work on same job for their whole life. When you started off, or maybe 10 years ago, you might be working in a different occupation, and that could be mapped to a different NOC as far as Canada immigration is concerned, but that doesn't invalidate your work experience. My responses always include all your work experience. Try and find an NOC which suited your past experience. Like for example, if you are working as a developer, so choose a developer NOC. If you are now working as a manager for your current occupation, you select manager as a related NOC for your current work experience. Okay, so that is the most important thing. But always keep in mind, qualifying work experience is the bare minimum. Like for example, it's saying that you should, in your current NOC, you should be working 12 months of, you should minimum have 12 months of work experience. What does that mean? That if you are saying, if you are providing a particular NOC as your primary NOC, then like for example, if you go here, right, see in this here, so in the work experience, if you're putting your current NOC, then make sure that you have that minimum 12 months of experience in that current NOC. You can have more than that experience. Like for example, if you don't have 12 months of Alberta experience, you can satisfy that 24 months of global experience, right? In the last 30 months, in the last 2.5 years, you can do that, right? So if you can satisfy these minimum criteria, do that. But that in no way is a what I would say is preventing you from entering your past experience. That's what I would want to say. Okay, enter your work history. If you don't have a work history, at least make sure you provide the bare minimum, or you meet the bare minimum. But I would say there is no need to hide or not provide your work experience or a total work experience, right? Provide everything. Just make sure that your NOC are correct. Like for example, I worked 10 years ago as a developer. So make sure that I am choosing an NOC that is developer. I'm not choosing my current NOC as my past experience. Okay. So so that was one point I wanted to talk about, as far as the what is the difference between a work experience during qualification period versus total work experience. Okay, so that was one topic I wanted to, that was the one aspect I wanted to talk work experience about. Okay, the next aspect that I wanted to talk about was, many people have also asked me that what can be included, what cannot be included. Now, what can be included, cannot be included, the best place of getting that answer is the stream that you are targeting and the eligibility criteria of that stream. Okay, but like from an overall point of view, like just from a discussion point of view, you can include all your global experience, you can include all of your Canada experience, and then you can include all of your current NOC experience. So if your current NOC experience, you are still working in your current NOC for the last 5 years, 10 years, include all of your current NOC experience. And what can be included is the PGWP experience, but there are certain conditions to it. So I'll come to that conditions in what cannot be included. So I hope this is clear what can be included. Again, what cannot be included? What cannot be included is any kind of part-time, casual or seasonal work cannot be included. Any kind of PGWP experience if specified by conditions. What that means is that if the specific conditions of the stream excludes certain PGWP experience, even though that is valid, that cannot be included. For example, if you are working as a, like for example, AOS doesn't recognize any kind of PGWP experience if it is not done, if it is not done from an Alberta education institute. So you cannot include that. Any kind of work done during PGWP, which is again a kind of a part-time work, but I'm just putting it across. So if you have done any kind of part-time work during PGWP, you cannot include that. The only criteria is if that work was done as part of the course, then you can include if the stream that you are targeting allows for PGWP experience. Okay, so this is what I wanted to discuss in this particular video. I hope the questions, some of the questions that were put here were would be answerable. If you see, my responses to all these questions is always that you should include all your global experience. You should not hide any of your global experience. The next question people ask me is that what if I don't have documents? If you don't have documents, or if you don't have reference letters, upload whatever documents you have. Like in all the jobs that we have done, there would be a joining letter, some kind of a relieving letter or something like that. Try your best to get reference letters from all your previous employers. If you cannot, if you just cannot do that, then include whatever you have. but at least for the qualifying period. Like for example, if you see, let me just go back to the AOS AOS form. Okay, now make sure that at least for the qualifying period you have all your reference letters. That is what I would say. Like for example, if you see here, reference letter in the employment reference letters, right? So make sure that the minimum, like for example here, it requires, like let me just zoom in, right? So AOS requires for you to upload reference letters for the qualifying period, right? So make sure that at least for these 12 months or 30 months, whatever is applicable to you, you have your reference letter. If you don't have a reference letter for anything, say beyond 5 years, or like this is like 24 months, right? 2.5 months, sorry. So say for some work you did in India 5 years back, for which employer is not able to provide you a reference letter, then provide whatever you have. You don't have much choice in that case, but at least make sure that the reference letters for the qualifying period are included. That is absolutely required. Okay, so make sure as far as you cover that, don't worry too much. So your reference letter availability should not hamper your work experience, entering your work experience. That's what I want to say. If you don't have, upload whatever you have, but reference letter is only bare minimum required for the work history. Okay, now say for example here in EOS it said that you need to include work experience only for the past 30 months, right? So if that is the case, you just include your 30 months work experience, right? So you don't need to enter anything beyond 30 months. I think even if you enter beyond 30 months, it's more of an information purpose, right? If I was in your place, I would have entered all my 10 years or 15 years, whatever experience I have, right? So this is only for your work history, right? Your current employment history is here. Current employment history, where is it? Current employment is here, and then work history is here. It says do not include on your current position, which is okay, right? So yeah, and you can just click on keep on adding the work history here. Okay, so this again, I used EOS as a demo, but I think this would be applicable for all of the streams or any of the streams. And as a thumb rule, while applying for immigration, make sure you include all your work experience. There is nothing to hide, right? So yep. So that is what I wanted to discuss in this particular video. I hope some of these questions are answered now. And if you still have questions, reach out to me. I'm more than available on the comments for all my subscribers. So I'll try my best to answer those questions, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much.